Right, a very good morning. You're watching the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday. Today is the second edition for this week. That is the 14th of November 2023. We are just at 29 minutes to 8 a.m. And you are joining me right here on Weatherhead Park Lane, that is on West Nile TV studios. But also, let me say thank you, greetings, and there's a lot that will be discussed. And first of all, apologies for the delayed commencement of this show, and this has been really due to technical issues behind there, but also all this has been rectified. We are hoping that all will be well as we proceed with the show, but this does not stop us from actually continuing. And now that we are back, you should be able to engage with us on the YouTube channels and the Juku channel, that you'll be able to really move on with sharing your comments and also seeing what is actually happening across the world and also what is within. And remember, we'll be having a guest shortly in the next hour to really discuss the issues to do with health, and this particularly tackles the male counterpart. So if you are a woman or a wife to someone, you should be able to really pay keen attention about this topic that we're going to discuss, looking at the cases of prostate cancer that is really escalating across the world. And Uganda is actually one of the leading countries on the continent of Africa that has really 42 per 10,000 people that have been diagnosed, and this is one devastating issue. But also, if you look locally here, we have 16% increase on the prostate cancer cases among the men, and this, most of them go undiagnosed and many times result into death in the long run. And these are really things that will be discussing with my guest shortly after after this hour. And that's one big issue there that we'll be discussing. So for those of you who want to really ask questions, who have doubts, who have some myths surrounding in the communities that you want to be clarified of, you should be able to be part of the show and also really get your doubts cleared by the health officer that I'll be having here. And still within West Nile, we have a lot that has been really going on. And remember the issues to do with the elections for the Chamber of Commerce, that is Arua City, really yesterday was turned actually chaotic, and a lot of issues came up from these elections. Remember, a number of people opted out, and 95% of the positions that were advertised went unopposed, and there are other positions that were not filled at the moment, and there are others that members were actually appointed without filling the nomination forms, and this is one of the areas that we want to really go into. What is the issue? And those journalists who went to cover, some of them took the dose of the tear gas that really came at the gate of heritage courts that was dispersing rowdy crowds, and that is one event there. And it followed actually the arrest of 3 business persons who were actually protesting for being denied their rights to vote, and that's one big area that we'll be really talking about. But also looking at other issues. Remember, there are a number of people who are already moving to NSSF to claim their monies under the pretext of being dead or declaring themselves dead and so on. That's one big other issue there. Remember, poverty is one of the underlying factors contributing to some of these kind of things, and this does not stop people from actually doing all those kind of things. Declaring yourself dead is one of the unfortunate things you will ever do to your life, but we need to look at other avenues of how to really address some of these issues. Remember, UBOS, actually the Uganda National Bureau of Statistics, yesterday addressed the press, and they actually announced that they are done with 87% of mapping, okay, the mapping exercise where they are going to actually do head counting and also conduct the census, which is expected to be in May 2024. So this is one of the step ahead taken by Uganda National Bureau of Standards, actual statistics, that is mandated to do a census in this country. And remember, we last did census in 2014. That was in the financial years 2022, 2020, actually 2013. That was when really preparations kicked off, and also really trying to look at how everything went on. And that's why really we had the 41 million population that was really gotten on that day. And now we are looking at a new population that is expected to have increased. This is due to many people who have produced, many have died, many have bought animals and so on. All the pets will be counted, and this is one big thing that is coming from the office of the Uganda National Bureau of Statistics. And the executive director was actually communicating this yesterday to the press, and he emphasized the issue of sensitization, ensuring that people understand what it means by counting people at night and so on, that night which is always considered to be. And he explained that it is going to be from the 8th up to the 11th. And so if you have already slept in a room on 10th, you will be counted. And if you have come on the 11th or the 12th, you will miss out in to be counted in your village. And that's one big other issue there. And he emphasized the need for people to actually go to their villages so that they are captured from where they are actually supposed to get services. So if you are residing here in a rural city and you feel like you'll be here for quite a long period of time, you can remain in the city. But if you are someone who operates from the village, you should be able to be in your village when they are doing the census, so that you are calculated or counted on with those who will be delivered services at that particular place. And moving away from that, remember the issues of TB is still a big threat, and World Health Organization has actually warned that it has registered the first ever unrecorded case of TB that is in the world. And the world, out of the 192 countries that we are actually sampled, out of 195, that means there were 3 countries that were not reached. The cases of TB were seen to be increasing, and the cases are even more than what was recorded in 2001. And since 1989, this was when really the first case, the first biggest case of TB was registered across the world. But now, last year's report, which was published this year, actually indicates that really countries are doing nothing in as far as the fight against TB is concerned. And this is proved by the statistics that has been shared, noting that actually the cases are too high and more than any other year that was actually calculated in some of the statistics that were captured some time back. And this is one great big issue that all of us need to do together to really move away from the aspects or the challenges associated with tuberculosis. Remember, it starts all the way like a headache, high body temperatures and so on, many other ways, and you feel like shivering, feel very cold and so on many times. And there are moments people sweat at night. At those moments, when you start feeling them, you should be able to really go to visit a health facility. But also those who are having challenges with breathing, the respiratory systems and so on, go and test yourself for TB. But also those who are sneezing and coughing all the time, you should be able to really move to visit a health facility to ensure that at least you are cured from tuberculosis. It's a curable disease. It's not like AIDS that goes for life. So one important thing is we all need to really take that responsibility of testing and making sure that we know our status, we know where we are heading to, and so on, so that we are able to really get rid of what is going on. Let's move back to the production and see if we can be able to get some clips of what happened from the elections, and we'll be able to discuss a few things from there. Let's move there, maybe. Okay, that is not coming yet, but we can continue from there. Remember, in the elections, there were a lot of issues that happened. A number of people were denied access to the election venue, while others were not really able to vote because of them being eligible. There were a number of people who came with their cards, receipts, and so on, but they were denied access. And this is really one big unfortunate thing that you ever say in an election in Uganda. Now that we have seen a number of elections, even cultural elections, voting for elders and so on, has turned to be chaotic. That means we have some gap as a nation in terms of political education, in terms of leadership appointments, or giving chance for people to be leaders. Leaders from the history of Bible, we are actually people chosen by God, people who were really naturally born to be leaders. And right now we are seeing that a lot of infiltration or influence triggering and really affecting a lot of the normal processes of having elections done in a best way. And this was actually witnessed from the time go, and this from morning at around 7, the number of people who had already invaded the election venue that was at Heritage Courts, and you realize that a number of people we are not actually ready to come and identify the business persons, and this is one big unfortunate thing. But let's move to watch that clip. And
do you know how much I paid? I paid. Why would the security even let us on our right in Uganda? How long is it going to take place?
But right now we want to go and elect now. Sit, they want for the city. Now they refuse our people to enter. Because people who has we want the refuse. We want the truth is that.
How do you protect this? How? You have seen me walk away. Me from walking away. You're spraying tear gas. You're arresting people. If everyone here is above the law, then we will take it that way. But we have no option that want to go legal. We will go legal, and we will see if the courts of justice that we believe in will not resolve this. We have enough evidence to take a legal step over this.
This election here, even when we do this nomination, he went out, some of their people jumped on the side, and they want to go and vandalize my road. Wonder whether people are drunk, whether people are stupid, whether people are mad. A chamber election, why should you rush and destroy somebody's people?
Okay, that is just a glimpse of what actually happened that side that was in Heritage Coast during the Arua City Chamber of Commerce elections. Remember, if you actually look at the leaders that have been elected from here, before we go to them, and from around 9 a.m. there, Caesar Trinity Drechabo, who is one of the contestants in the chairpersonship position, actually he had to opt out because really he understood that there were a lot of irregularities. There was nothing like as far as the verifications were concerned, a number of people who were not having businesses had DNA names verified as voters, and this is one big issue that he cited. But also the issues to do with the anomalies that were raised by the city commercial officer. Remember, there was a letter that was said by the city commercial officer to written actually to the resident city commissioner to stop actually the processes of the elections, and he cited that there were anomalies that were evidenced in these elections, and that the process should not go on. And this was one big issue there, which was prompting a lot of anxiety among the people who were to be elected in. And this actually made Caesar to move away the way you saw, and he actually explained that he's going to move legal, and that means he's going to challenge the outcome of the elections, citing a lot of issues to do with the denial of rights of the voters to really go and cast their votes, but also the issues to do with the transparency exhibited by the people from the Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industries Secretariat, that is the national headquarters, who actually came to do the voting or witnessed the voting exercise and shown. He actually cited that these people did not follow the due processes in as far as the constitution of Uganda National Chamber of Commerce is concerned, but also the issues to do with the voting was not stopped from there, but it continued. Since the protest at the gate continued, a number of people were arrested, 3 of them, and these were taken to a central police station. Remember, the area was actually beefed by UPDF and Uganda police forces. A number of issues came from that side, and in the voting, a number of people found themselves actually unopposed. This was because many people who had actually submitted their appointment or their nominations had to pull out because they feel like the elections were not really things that were to be like an organized entity doing it, and it made them to understand that it was not really meaningful for them to actually participate in the elections, and that made 95% of the positions unopposed, and starting from the chairpersonship, the vice chairperson, and the rest. And apart from the position of the treasurer, that actually attracted 2 candidates, and eventually that one had to also step down, and this was where really there was no voting. But if we look at the positions that were voted in, there were only 2 that included the position of the coordinator and also the position of the publicity, and those were the 2 that were really voted in. And this was through ballots, and where people write the names of the candidate they were voting for, and you have to put your vote, the ballot paper into the box, and that's where really the kind of voting was done. And if you look at some of the positions, they did not actually attract candidates like the engineering position, and also the position for private school administrators or private school owners. That did not attract any candidate. But there was an appointment of one of the contractors on behalf of the engineers, who actually was able to fill the gap without even having any nomination form filled. And those are some of the things that came out from there. Those are some of the anomalies that anyone can easily challenge, because really the swearing in was also irregular, where some people used their phones, Quran from the phone, and you take an oath from that. And that's one really unfortunate thing you will ever say in this world. Even in the parliament, people have tablets which are bigger than the smartphones that you have. but they cannot use the Bible from their phone. They use what we call the Quran. They pick the right Quran. So I don't know if there were no holy people in that voting election. That's one big area there that was witnessed. And also, if you look at the conversations around this, there were a number of issues. If you look at that letter that was actually written on 10th, there were a number of anomalies that were cited in this letter, and up to date, there was no clear answer in as far as whether they were genuinely ironed out or not. It was not really given out. And moving slightly away from that, if you look at the current leadership that was elected and shown in, you realize that changes are only from the chairpersonship position, but the rest of the leaders, most of them are actually the leaders who were from the Arua District Chamber of Commerce elections. So it is just like an interswitch of the leaders, apart from Atimali Jackson, who is a member of parliament who opted out and whose term of office expired in August 2023. And he was actually replaced by Debo, who went unopposed. And the rest of the executives of Arua District Chamber of Commerce remain the Arua City Chamber of Commerce leaders, and that's one big issue there that you can be able to get if you actually missed the elections. And moving away from that, I earlier told you that the TB issue is still a very big issue across the world, that nations are actually expected to start doing serious campaigns against the tuberculosis. And if you look at what is currently trending, you have Africa as the second continent that has the biggest, the second biggest chunk or the number of TB cases ever recorded. This is following the South America that is having the biggest, which is 41%, and Africa is closely following that with the 38%, and also the rest of the continents follow suit. And this is sometimes one big issue that many health experts have found themselves difficult dealing with it. And you realize that many people do not want to actually deal with people who have tuberculosis, and that's why you see few people sacrificing themselves to move into this. And that's why many times you show that there were a number of donors who are venturing into this sector, trying to pay health workers cash on a case that is being followed up by them. And those are things that come many times when we are dealing with serious diseases or infections that have impacts on human health. And many other countries have moved ahead with this, and what they do is they make sure that community surveillance is expedited. For instance, in Uganda we have the VSTs, but what do they do? This is one big issue there that we need to do. We need to look at. Since we have strengthened our health system, we have gone digital, we have done everything it takes, what other thing can we do beyond that to ensure that really we are fighting other than really just reporting? Reporting is okay, but if a response is not really expedited, we have a challenge. We have a lot to do, and as far as this issue is concerned, there are a number of diseases that are manifesting around the globe, but we have since and then paid less attention to them, and this affects the health of our people. You realize that if you go to a regional referral hospital, the number of cases of drug resistance TB that have been recorded, there are reoccurrences, there are a number of issues that are attributed to TB. Remember, TB is one big disease that can kill you in a no-minute when you have other diseases that are there. And there are other comorbidities that are really forcing the lives of people just because really many times we don't take care, or maybe the drugs are there, you don't want to take. Sometimes taking drugs is very difficult. So if we want to run away from staying longer on drugs, we need to really have that zeal of going for self-testing. Okay, self-medical checkup is very, very important. Take your time, go to the health facility and make yourself diagnosed of all these other diseases, so that you know your status, you know where you belong, you know how to now move with life, because really it's a very, very unfortunate thing once we lose people who have TB. And remember, TB is one chain of disease that is like communicable. It moves from one person to the other just because it is an airborne disease. It can easily fly with the air we breathe. Even when you are talking and you have TB, you can easily really spread it to other people. So we need a concerted effort from community. We need really government to really expedite its interventions. If you have free drugs for TB, then we need to make it to the local, the lower health facilities. Health Center 3 should be able to treat TB. Health Center 2 should be able to diagnose TB. Health Center 1s that are those are the VSTs should be able to also do some really diagnosis. TB is not really a complicated disease that you can really take a lot to diagnose. It is easier based on the signs and symptoms. Somebody will be able to gauge whether this is really a TB or not, and it makes the clinical diagnosis very easier, and reference to major analysis will be made later on, and that could be really when the VSTs are able to take to their mantle, to move to their villages and also understand the health of their people, not only waiting for people to respond to you, but because sometimes I might have TB, but I may not present some of the signs that you could easily tell that I have the TB. Sometimes TB might be in the bones, the virus might be in the bones and so on, but I'm not coughing. You see, those are some of the complicated signs of TB that you will ever find difficulties in diagnosing. So it's very, very important to really look at the people, individual people in the villages, and also people need to report some of these cases earlier as much as possible to ensure that their lives are rescued. And slightly moving away from that, and I earlier told you that today is the World Diabetes Day. Diabetes Day is actually geared towards ensuring that everyone knows about what diabetes is, the sugar levels. You must really be able to track it. And remember, across the world, many people are losing their lives. Millions of people are dying every day, and many are diagnosed every day. And this is really resulting from the poor habits, eating habits, the issues to do with the lack of regular physical exercise that people do is one big other issue there that comes many times when we don't really take our health serious. I know you must be aware that health is a priority for everyone, because really if you cannot take care about your health, you will not really have anything to do, because it is the engine of how you behave. It is the engine of how you operate. It is the pivot point of where you can be able to rotate around. If your eye is paining, you will not see. If your stomach is maybe having that disorganization, you have bazaars that you are driving every time in your stomach, I mean you are dehydrating, or you have diarrhea and so on, you will not really be happy to stay with other people. So it's upon you to say that yes, I'm sick, I need to isolate myself. It's yes, I'm sick, I need to go to the health facility, because you need not to be told, because it is not a dress that you are put on that somebody will tell you that, hey, you know, this dress looks dirty from behind, that you did not see. And so we need to really take a priority of our health, and also ensure that we are able to achieve what we can be able to do, because you as an individual, you are very important to the nation at the moment, because whatever you do contributes to the economic growth of the country. Whatever little you do pays a lot of people in offices that are delivering services to you. Let's take a break from here. We'll be able to come back with the other discussions later on. Thank you.
Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league. Go for it!
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Break earlier on, we are told you that health is really a very big issue there. That's why really most of my stories today are really in line with health issues. But the issues of diabetes and tuberculosis is a very big issue. And remember, there are so many people whom we have lost prominent persons just because really the issues of diabetes is the biggest issue that has claimed their lives. People have been spotted to have been diabetic. Sometimes it is attributed, it is added on to some diseases and so on. And the nutritional status of what we feed on is another big issue there that contributes to this kind of disease. And what do we need to do is one big issue there. That's why I was stressing very serious that we need to really have a lot of efforts in as far as trying to move to health facilities and understand our sugar level and understand our obesity. Obesity is this aspect of you getting fat, growing fat, and throughout you're just fattening. Okay, fattening, maybe some people were saying it's not fattening, but that they are growing big. That's the value for money that they are seeing in them. Is the accountability of what they are consuming. So but we need to regulate what we eat. We need to see our diet is very up to date. Okay, it's very important to note that whatever you feed on is what you can really consume, what can be able to help your body. Because nowadays, if you don't consult a health worker, you would have fed onto a wrong type of food that may cause you more diseases and than really making you healthier. Okay, that is another issue there. There are some people who like cold power. The breakfast you eat is the food that slept yesterday, that was not kept well, and so on. That's why sometimes many people fall sick, especially children who are going to school. The mothers feel like, okay, the leftover of yesterday's food, you need to really eat it before you go. It's okay, but can we warm this food first? Can we keep the food in a very good container to ensure that the health of the children are also good? But there are some people who are also there, like, I left my meat there, I need to go and eat it. Okay, you see that? Many times these are characteristics of some men, stingy men who are at home, and there are some people who testified that there are some men who, up to now, even they want to measure the kilograms of beans to be cooked today, and even the flour. That is quite unfortunate. That's been too strict, because many times people need food at the required time, and the quantity of food, the quality of food also matters in this moment. There are people who eat big, there are people who eat small, and it is dependent on your body, on what your body deserves. So we need to ensure that balanced diet is a must. But many times health workers have fronted the issues to do with eating a lot of veggies. Veggies are very, very good, like ball, like these others that we may talk about, and so on, okra, and so on, many that you can consume that keeps your body very, very good. And those are things that many times add value to your body, bloodstream, and so on, the bone marrows, that can keep you up to date. But there are people who every day, if they have not tasted the ball gum I meaning is the culture that they eat every time, the meat that is roasted, the meat that is boiled, the meat that is what, and so on, in different forms. People want to eat meat. They feel like greens is eaten from home, and when you go to a hotel, you should not eat beans, you should not eat greens, and so on. Really, that is one disadvantaging thing that you'll be able to do to your body. So we should be able to move away from that mentality, but ensure that as you love your meat most, but you should be able to put a little of greens aside, and also to ensure that really your health is good. That is one big issue there. We should be able to pay attention to it to ensure that our health is good and really up to date. And one big other report that is circulating now is the report about government facilities. 97% of them lack specialized health workers. This is one big issue there, and these health workers that are specialized include the gynecologists, include the anesthesian, those in neonatal clinics, and so on, many others that you may mention. Big look at as a country, and also look at as a nation, and to ensure that really our health workers are actually recruited and facilitated very, very well. And this is one big issue there we need to really look at if we want to really thrive, if we want to increase the issues of people seeking for services and benefiting at the same time. And that's one great thing that we need to do. And if you look at some of the areas that have been cited in this report that was released by Ministry of Health, you realize that many people go to health facilities, but they fail to get the specialized attention. Okay, the specialized attentions may mean, like, if you have gone for an eye operation or eye checkup for maybe cataracts, there should be somebody who is specializing in eye sector, okay, who is working on the eye and so on. That person who is recruited specifically to deal with eye operations should be in that facility. So if I don't get the person, that means I may go and just buy a mirror to put on my eyes, and yet the treatment is not yet done. That is just a preventive measure, and those are things that need really keen attention. Remember, paying the specialized doctors is another big issue there. We have been grappling with the issues of funds, the increment of salaries and so on, and this is where really we need to go up to. We need to really ensure that a bigger portion of our budget is allocated to the health sector to ensure that these gaps are filled. If we have 87% of the specialized doctors or clinicians or health workers not deployed or not recruited, that means we have nothing actually going on in health facilities apart from diagnosis. What else can we do? Because we're not able to treat specific certain diseases. Talk about cancer, talk about the TB department, talk about many other departments like medical ward, surgical ward, and also many others that you can mention, the ICU department and so on. These need specialized persons who are keenly actually trained to deal with those specific areas that I've mentioned. So it's upon government really now to take that. It's not now the community members, it's not now other people, but it's the mandate of government to do that recruitment. Remember, the country is still has still halted the processes of recruitment from both central and local governments, and this is due to the anomalies that were cited in payment of salaries, gratuities and pensions, and this is a result of 15 billion Ugandan shillings that was lost to ghost workers across the country, but also looking at a number of people who have died, whose names have surfaced on the payrolls. They are being paid, but they are no longer serving. There are people who have died, but their names continue to surface on the payroll. And who are these people consuming the salary? And that's what really the Ministry of Public Service was able to do with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that the issues of recruitment is halted and verification of the available staff under local government is done to ensure that we know the people who are supposed to really do the needful, the people who are supposed to get the salary, to avoid government losing money to ghost workers, ghost pensioners, and ghost beneficiaries of gratuity. That is why really the recruitment processes were put on hold since April, and up to date it is still on hold, and that's where really a lot of gaps are being witnessed in the public sector in terms of staffing and in terms of many other things that are still lacking. And this is one thing that Ministry of Public Service need to expedite to ensure that really some of these gaps are filled. Once the verifications are done across the country, there's need now to fill the gaps that have been identified, but also the people who have been eating the monies in the names of the dead persons or the dead bodies should be really arrested, and they should be able to pay back, because as a country that is hungry for money, hungry for resources in terms of building the nation, in terms of building the economy, we don't need really to give money to individuals to construct their own houses, yet they were actually meant for service delivery. That's one big area that we need to really look at as far as the issues of accountability and issues of duty bearers being on duty stations is concerned, and that is a very big issue there if we want to really move further with the issues to do with service delivery at every levels. And that's a very good, important thing that the country should be able to foresee and also really tap into as far as the 2024-2025 budgeting process is concerned. And it's very, very important to capture that in our budgeting process to ensure that really we have staffs. But if we don't have staffs, the buildings and also the hospitals, the schools that we have will be adamant, will not be utilized. Once they are underutilized, that means public will lose trust in the services that are delivered by government. So it will be quite unfortunate that people will be misled by the private sector, especially the drug shop owners and those who are in private clinics. We have seen many of them diagnosing people, writing wrong results in favor of selling their drugs. We have seen a lot of testimonies around this, just because people feel like going for government services delays a lot of time, and yet government actually recruits the genuine experts to work in some of these fields. And that's where really it's advisable for people to first rush to public health facilities. When the other services are not there, they will be able to go to the private facilities on a recommendation of the government workers who work for salary from government and not really for profits to ensure that their payments are done, but they work from the expertise and knowledge. We have seen so many senior for-livers in drug shops selling drugs and so on, trying to do analysis of what they think could be the disease, based on your reporting, without even analyzing the results and so on. It's quite unfortunate that people are losing a lot of lives from this. And that is one big thing that we need to really look at if we want to change the narrative of the country, losing people just because they cannot really get the expertise in the health sector in many of these hospitals that we have. That is just a survey done by Ministry of Health, and it was released on the 8th of this month. And that is a very key thing that I feel you should be able to share your opinions on, and also be able to tell us what you think can be done to rescue the situation. So we continue to put the issues to do with the recruitment on hold as we continue with the issues of verification. Remember, in April, the verification team came to every local government. IG was there to really document, but also people from public service were also there trying to verify the staff, and this was done. So how long could this process take to ensure that recruitments are okay for local governments to recruit so many people? For instance, in a rural district, out of the heads of department, you realize that there are only 2 substantive staff that are in the district. So how will they run the district? There are many people who will not be able to account for whatever they are doing, because they are not really the rightful persons to be in that positions. You realize that when recruitments will be done, many of them will be shifted away from there, because those are not the rightful qualifications they may not be having. They might not be accountable for the mistakes they will commit, because they are on interim basis. They are just acting. Acting means you come there temporarily, you don't have all the rights to do whatever you are supposed to do. So it's a limiting factor for many of these officers who are already serving in the public sector, and also really it makes work look not really organized, okay? But also the issues of accountability becomes very, very difficult in terms of many of these people not being responsible for whatever they are doing, because they are on acting positions. The tools of work may not be complete for them. Their chain of command may not be respected at some point, because they are acting in acting positions. So the recruitment processes need to be really untied, and local governments need to take to the mantle of recruiting the necessary persons, professional persons, to be in some of these sectors. And that's it. Let's move away from that story and shift our attention to other stories elsewhere. Remember the issues to do with the economy is a very big issue there. Remember the digital health system, health strengthening system is another thing. Remember yesterday the Ministry of Health communicated that there is going to be a lot of changes in the issues to do with health. There are so many people who always come to the health facilities and log on Okay, they log in, and after logging in, they enter there and put their names and the attendance are all reporting book, and then they go out for to do their private work, and thereafter they come back. That is one thing that has been actually witnessed, and there are so many people who have lost their lives because the health workers are not on duty and so on. And according to Dr. Diana Twine, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, in her speech that she delivered during the digital health training that was actually in Kampala at Sheraton Hotel, he actually explained that there is no longer going to be any issue to do with the follow-up of health workers. If you want to log in and you disappear, it's upon you, and that is one big issue there. They are going to install a lot of digital systems in the health facilities, in the wards, in every department, to ensure that health workers are tracked even from the day they are attending to workers. Okay, so that means every detail of a person you have attended to, you will be able to feed it in the system, and what kind of disease you are able to diagnose, what kind of treatment you have been able to give to the person. All of them will be fed into the system to ensure that the number of attendants or the number of times you work at the facility will be really noted, but also how many times you have been at the facility in a week will be also noted from that. And that's one big issue there that the Ministry of Health is moving towards addressing. And she said actually the country has lost a lot of money from the health workers who always come to the facility to report, only to log into the system and the biometric system. After logging in, they disappear, they go for their work, they come back in the evening, and the ministry only sees that the so-and-so has also logged out. And that used to appear as if somebody is working for 11 hours in the health facility, and yet the person is not attending to patients, the person is not delivering the services that are needed, and this gives a lot of headache as far as monitoring the whole system is concerned. But also the hospital administrators have been backing some of these health workers up by saying that they are always on duty, and that's why they have been able to sign in and so on and log in and so on, and yet the attendance is very, very low. So that system is going to address the issues to do with the what kind of work you are able to deliver and how many people you are able to see. So according to the Permanent Secretary, we are going to actually look at those kind of statistics to ensure that the health workers are paid. So if you are not going to be at duty station and you feel like you can dodge around and you will be able to say that I worked on this day, that's where you'll be also caught. And how you are going to be paid is based on the number of patients you have been able to attend to, the number, the quality of service you have been able to deliver, the expertise knowledge you have been able to share, and so on. Those are some of the things that have been actually highlighted there, and also the number of times you have been able to come to the health facility. So those of you who have been dozing around, trying to always brag around, you pay the hospital administrator to write for you a very good report so that you are able to receive your salaries. This is no longer going to be there in Uganda's health system. So the rollout is expected to be starting by the end of this month. So around 25th up to December there, we'll be able to see all the health facilities having these kind of gadgets in the health facilities where they will be able to feed these reports. So we hope that health workers will not go back to the archives and remove the booklets that they signed some months ago and start feeding them in the digital health reporting system, and they assume that they were able to attend to thousands, yet they did not attend to even 10 people in a day. So that is one big issue there that has really been able to boost the health system of Uganda, and that's one street communication that will be moving to all these health facilities. Remember, yesterday they were able to train the health workers, the administrators of health facilities, the in charges, the head of departments and so on in that system, and they're also making sure that they are able to get the knowledge and also be able to utilize it in their regional and district or lower local health facilities, to ensure that really a service is delivered to date. A service is delivered to everyone, and also people are able to give feedback of the quality of services that have been rendered to them. And this is one area that we should be able to take seriously as far as the issues of monitoring health services is concerned. Remember, monitoring health services is one big area that many people have not been able to really take seriously. So this will be able to strengthen the first of all, the diagnosis, the issues of health workers being on duty every time, because it is the time node where you are not there, you will be reported absent by yourself, because your logbook or your ledger account will be reading that so and so did not come, so and so did not transact business. The business you are transacting is attending to the patients. So if you did not attend to patients, that means you came to the health facility, you went away, you did not really do the work. So that's how they are going to monitor it, because according to the ministry, the number of hospital administrators, in charges, and directors who have not been doing their monitoring job, they are always up, down, moving away from the duty stations, relaxing elsewhere, and coming maybe twice in a week, and so on. That affects the issues to do with the monitoring, the issues to do with disciplining health workers, and so on. And many other administrative measures that are supposed to be taken by them are compromised, because they are also victims of the circumstances that are being noticed. And this is going to be eliminated by directly monitoring these health workers from the wards they are delivering the services from, and also from some of the areas. For instance, before even you go to the ward, you are supposed to log in using the biometric system to ensure that your presence is notified. But also now when you enter the ward, your presence will be notified by attendants or the patients you see, the diagnosis, the kind of diseases you are able to diagnose, and also the kind of care you have been able to administer to the patients. So people should not be able to manipulate the system by saying that maybe if me or if Dramadri goes to the health facility, you have been able to diagnose malaria, but you don't have the quantum or the drugs that you are supposed to administer, and you have been able to refer me to a clinic to go and buy, or a pharmacy to go and buy the drugs. You should be able to write the rightful message that you said to me, to the ministry, that because the drugs were not there, I sent him to buy from the pharmacy. So it should be a clear kind of thing. We should not really write a lot of things, fabricate a lot of messages to be put that we did this, and yet we did not do. So that is one big other issue there, that we should be able to really do or deliver justice in the health system in as far as service delivery is concerned. There are many people who have ever complained about health workers not being on duty, especially in the maternity wing and also emergency care. Remember, these are the two departments that need urgent attention. The maternity wing, where people are referred, how people are brought to deliver at some point, their mothers who are brought when the labor is actually done. They are actually supposed to now deliver at that point, where you don't see a health worker, you are still running to the quarters to look for the nurse and so on. It is quite difficult. It's quite actually challenging, and makes people not feel good on the quality of services we deliver. And it makes some people sometimes feel like they are not being protected, or they are not being delivered justice in the health system. So this kind of mechanism is a very good one, and all of us need to impress it if we want to really go far in delivering health services to the people. But let's take a break from here. We'll be actually coming back to finalize with other discussions in the last hour of the show that we'll be having. But keep in mind that we'll be having the news in Lubarati that will be coming on your way up next. That will be at the hour of 9 a.m. brought to you by Fete Emmanuel. That is very important. You should be able to understand in the local language. The local content matters a lot in as far as we are concerned by.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Master Fukume!
The
Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Currently being rolled out from the month. And we've seen a lot of issues to do with improvements in the health reporting system. Okay, this has been one of the interventions towards innovative or advancing in technology is concerned, and this is where the country is trying to fight the issues to do with justice. Okay, health justice and also the human rights abuses that have been done by the health workers. Remember, there are so many health workers who have been getting salaries without any work done, and this is the one big area that the country is looking at to bridge the gaps. Okay, this is where we are coming from, and according to the communications from the permanent secretary, Minister of Health, that is Dr. Rufa Cheng, okay, the permanent secretary, who actually Diana Twine, who is the permanent secretary, Minister of Health. There is a lot that is going to be done in as far as tracking the health workers and also looking at whatever they'll be doing. Okay, it will be seen from the national perspective and seen to it that the health workers are able to be on duty. They are able to deliver the services that are needed from the patients, but also they are able to account to the patients in terms of the services that is delivered, but also getting feedback instantly from the patients. And this is one innovation that the health ministry is trying to move to in as far as the service delivery is concerned. How beneficial is this? How dangerous is this? You look at if you look at many times the traditional system of reporting the health issues, many health workers used to actually write a lot of false report in as far as the attendance, the issues of diagnosis is concerned. And this is where really the country will be able to know that there are some health workers who have the issues to do with capacity, the challenges of capacity, they'll be able to know from the time they are able to do the diagnosis of some of these diseases that are being reported by the citizens. But also the issues of drugs leaving health facilities. Many times we have seen drugs being not really utilized so much. So it will be an account of how much drug has been administered at health facility A to ensure that they are able to account to whatever national medical stores is able to deliver at the health facility. Because if you report that from maybe the neonatal clinic, you were able to use 20 cartons in 2 days, there should be a justification from who are those people who actually took the drugs and what are the diseases that were diagnosed. So this kind of digital health reporting will be helping in this, because you'll be able to feed in the name of the persons who have come to seek for this service, and also what kind of prescriptions you are able to do after your diagnosis. That is one big important thing that people need to take serious now, learn from that. We have seen a lot of CCTV cameras installed at health facilities right away from the gate up to some of the wards. But these have never solved the issues to do with drug theft, the issues of extortion, the issues of misbehavior by some of the health workers. We have seen testimonies of nurses slapping mothers who are failing to deliver and so on, abusing them and so on. Sometimes this is one big issue that is expected to be resolved through this kind of system, because much as the CCTV camera will be there, we'll be able to see really whether people were able to come for services at these health facilities. So that is a critical area of improvement that has really been seen as a very big intervention by Ministry of Health. Let's move away from Uganda, our country, but look at the world at large. You realize that 1 in 3 children face victims of waterborne diseases across the world, and this report was just released yesterday according to the World Health Organization, but also UNICEF, that is directly dealing in the issues of children. And you realize that children suffer the most consequences of climate change in relation to the quality of water we drink, the quality of food we eat, the quality of everything that we do that is arising from climate change. Remember, because man has tampered with the climate and tampered with the environment, and a lot of changes have occurred. So many times we have seen water that used to come like purified. Even the streams used to be very clean, but if you look at them now, the quality of water consumed is not really a very, very good one. And this is actually tabulating to 789 children, 789 million children across the globe who are actually suffering from waterborne diseases. The waterborne diseases we talk about include cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, and many others that we may talk about. Scabies is another. Skin diseases. You will realize that many of our children go and swim in the streams. Locally here we have the Inyao stream, the Inyao river that is here from Arua district up to many other districts we have in Western region, where people go there, they swim there. They even at some point when you are swimming, you find that you fail to jump off quickly. You consume some of the dirty water in your stomach, and that is really something that always comes with those kind of challenges. And also, if you look at National Water and Sewerage Corporation, where they are actually getting water from, it is the same Inyao River that comes into National Water and Sewerage Corporation. But the issues to do with the pipes being dirty, that makes water not really safe for consumption, is another big issue there that comes every time when we talk about the the quality of water consumed. Many times people refer to National Water and Sewerage Corporation that is providing the safe water that is in the nation. But this water comes to be dirty from the point of generation. Okay, this National Water and Sewerage Corporation that generates the water and distributes it. What are the lines of distribution? Are they safe to the people? Are they really the rightful things that are needed for the distribution of water? There are people who are breaking the pipes at some point, also collecting water on the way as it moves. So those are things that really make water very, very dirty. So across the world, actually, it's noted that the world actually needed to spend on annual basis 41.2 million US dollars every year to ensure that water is kept safe. And this is one big issue here that we'll be able to talk about. And if you look at most of our streams, they are not now yielding clean water. And if you look at the boreholes that we have, because of the behaviors we have, people dig or sink toilets that are shallow and so on. Sometimes they end up also contaminating the boreholes that we have. And also we have other people who do not care. They even go there and squat somewhere and defecate in caveras and throw the feces. The feces is flying over the air, and sometimes particles of the feces split in air and they fall apart. That is one dangerous issue we will be able to see. And if you move at night or early in the morning, you see the water pavements are all having molecules of feces, and sometimes some of the feces you will see, you get deteriorated. Actually, you feel like you have lost your mind. Where you are thinking about, you even make a U-turn because of the welcome note that is given to you by the flies. So those are things we need to really correct if we want to go further, if we want to progress in the normal life of the people we have. But also trying to clear the doubts or the issues to do with the environment and so on. We need to really continue strengthening and financing the interventions towards mitigating the environmental destruction impacts, but also the climate change. We have over talked about how the dangerous systems we use in farming have contributed to the climate change, but also the issues to do with how we should be able to relate with the environment. As of now, there are so many people I know. Dry season is starting soon. By December, there are already teams that have formed themselves, or their competitors already there with the matchbox in Madiokolo trying to set ablaze the only grasses we have and so on. This is an annual issue that comes. So local governments should really take drastic measures in ensuring that people who have been caught alive in these activities of action and so on, they should be really charged in courts of law. These issues of saying my people, my voters, does not help a lot, because we all consume the impact of whatever activity illegally they are doing. It doesn't help us a lot in as far as this is concerned, because the vegetation cover we have purifies the water that we have, and also many other things that we do that contribute to the wellness of the quality of water we have is another big issue. But also when for hygiene. If you are keeping the water in pot, in the other containers like jerrycans and basins, they need to be cleaned very fast and make sure that it is a very good one. But also in our primary schools, there were lessons taught in science in P5 that if you want to get the best water to drink, you should first boil it. Whether it is from a borehole, whether it is from springs, whether it is from a stream, you boil it and sieve it. Okay, make sure that it is filtered. It's kept in a very good container to ensure that there is nothing like contamination. Contamination can be from any other point of delivery of the water. So it's upon all of us to ensure that we get the best water to drink, and that's very, very important. But also funding for the water department in local governments is another big issue there that government needs to interest herself into, and also ensure that these water departments that we have in local governments need to function very well, and also ensure that the rehabilitation of boreholes, rehabilitations of these other sources of water is taken to the height to ensure that we consume the best quality of water. Let's take a break from here. Not really a break, and this is actually where we're concluding the Tuesday edition of the Kokoliriko show that we have here today. And behind the camera, we had actually Dijon Pro, who has been really tinkering and behaving with the focus of the camera, and also many other things, technical things to do with the camera system, and also ensuring that the lighting is balanced. That's why you are able to see me handsome here right away on the TV screens. But also behind the production is producer Aldo, who is behind there, and he's the head of productions at West Nile TV and many other things he does. Apart from what he does here, there are so many that you can be able to consult him on. But also those of you who want to advertise with West Nile Television, we say thank you very, very much. You should be able to really just move to your email and write West Nile TV station at gmail.com. That's where you'll be able to get connected to the West Nile Television to have your business done. And also up next we'll be having actually the news in Lubera brought to you by Feta Emmanuel, and we have Farish Mazid, the editor for that news. Thanks a lot. We'll meet again tomorrow. Bye bye.